Man, what's going on? Montel Allen, July 5th. Team No Sleep in the building, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing today?
Blessings, man. Blessings on top of blessings. I cannot complain, man. I mean,
Yeah,
definitely, was able to celebrate with family, spend some time, 4th of July. Always thankful for that. And just, man, ready to start another week. But it's been rough. It's been a rough weekend,
yeah.
to say the least.
It's been rough. You say 4th of July weekend to celebrate. Man, this year, I abstained from saying the pledge just because we gonna go down that path early.
Wait, wait, wait.
We gonna go down
But
that
you,
path
but you,
early
you,
on.
you didn't hear what I said. I
Yeah,
said I celebrate. I spent time with my family. I didn't say I
yeah.
celebrated
Okay.
Independence Day. Because our Independence Day was Juneteenth. Our
It is.
Independence Day
There you go.
was then.
Okay.
This is America free from the colonization of Britain,
Yeah.
supposed day. I mean, again, we have so many things going on in this country that's really still racially affected that it's kind of hard for us to
A lot of
celebrate.
problems. A lot of
Yeah.
problems, and it seemed to be getting more loud. And I just didn't. And I told my family I was with them. We were out of town. South side. I see your dad here in the building. I said, listen, I'll be respectful because my dad served in the Air Force for 26,
Mhm.
27 years. So I did that, right? Obviously, but I didn't feel like saying some of the words. But I stood at
Yeah.
attention and I was respectful because that's what we do. But yeah, there's just so much going on, and we talked about the Roe v. Wade situation last week. We talked about some of the other stories that are happening from a political perspective. But now here we go again with a lot of trauma in the news and trauma as it relates to youngsters. Let's start with this one. We'll start with the Highland Park situation. So
Yeah.
blessings to everyone who was involved with that, and that's a sad situation. And I'm gonna say young folks because it was a young man that did the shooting. The person who is of interest that is in custody, Robert Crimo III, 21 years old, young man, right? Young man. Now he has been charged with 7 counts of murder. Highland Park, Chicago, has been through some times, man. There's a lot going on out there. High crime rate, high gun violence, and then to have a parade going on, and you got families out there. You got uh, senior citizens. You got everyone out there. You got Americana out there, and then to have someone go out there and do some heinous things like this is horrible. This is just horrible, man. So,
Yeah. You
uh,
you have us now. I'm gonna be the first one to admit if no one else has been. We're in a state of fear in public situations. I'm
yeah,
fearful. I'm fearful for my daughters to go to a concert. I'm fearful
yeah,
for my family to go to an event that's an outdoor event now because of these situations happening so much. And I know people used to say, "Hey, we can't be fearful. We got to keep going higher." But this is starting to become something that is happening every time. Starting with Las Vegas situation at that
hmm
concert,
hmm
starting now with the parade, now in schools. I mean, we're having situations where we thought normally were sanctuaries of safety, where people didn't do anything because it was crowds of people, people wouldn't do it, are becoming the opposite. It's becoming the, I don't want to say it's the norm, man, because I don't want it to be the norm,
yeah.
but it's starting to be really affluent of these crimes happening in these situations. I mean, the Sacramento incident we had a couple of weeks ago, you know,
My
we just,
kids were there,
yeah,
right?
you can't
my,
go to
my
a,
yeah,
think about it. You can't go to a parade.
yeah.
You can't go to a concert. You can't go to a park. Now you can't go to a party outside.
hmm
You can't go to a gathering. We can't celebrate 4th of July without something happening. We're having all these incidents, man, where, it ain't no more, it's somebody dying because of gun violence.
Yes.
And it's getting to the point, man. I don't want to normalize it and I don't wanna like I said, I don't want to say it's becoming normal, but it is. I mean, it's something that we're dealing with week in and week out. Almost, every week we're dealing with this kind of situation. And it's amazing that the people that we put in power, the people that we voted in power, the
Hmm.
people that are in the political realms, since they're a distance from it because it doesn't really affect them because of their social economic status, they just feel like they're oblivion and it doesn't happen. And this doesn't involve them and it's sad. It's damn sad to be honest with you.
It's horrible because of the fact, well, obviously, of everything that's going on, but then the caliber of the weapons. that's being used, the caliber of the firearms that are being used. And I was reading some stories that the physicians that were there at the parade, enjoying it with their family, they said when they started tending to those that were injured and unfortunately shot, looked like war wounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looked like just something out of, unfortunately, a war zone, and just people. Uh, it was just horrible. So now, as of this morning, again, it's 7 counts of murder for this young man. He's in custody. I was seeing some stories that apparently he's had some issues with the police before. His mother was kind of, I'm gonna say, belligerent when the police were talking to her about some other things. So that's just a story that is not well. It's not going to end well. And then we got to pile on top of that, we got Akron, Ohio. We
Yeah.
got Jalen Walker. We got the
Well,
young man.
before we go into that one,
Yeah.
there was another shooting that wasn't highly publicized. The one that happened in Albany, New York. Another 4th of July shooting.
Oh, man.
In southern. I mean, not Albany, North, but in New Albany in southern Indiana. Excuse me.
Okay.
Another 18-year-old boy that shot and blasted on some people. This is becoming, and I really want to talk about Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
But this is becoming something, man, that, I mean, like I said, I'm at the point now where I'm fearful for my daughters to go in these public sanctuaries and these public events.
Yeah.
And my kids, period, and my family, period, not just my kids, my family, period, to go in these public events, because we're at the point where, like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who has a firearm, who doesn't. This young man was sniping people from above.
Yeah.
In Chicago.
Yeah, this one was completely intentional, premeditated, knew what he was going to do, dressed up in women's clothes, went up there and had his long-range firearm. But, some of these other ones that are happening, it's just someone carrying their weapon, or they have it in their car. An altercation, a fight turns into something that it shouldn't be. So then it escalates to gun violence. But
I will argue the premeditated point is right when you have the gun in the car. Right when you have the gun in your possession.
Yeah.
You don't bring a gun in your car unless you intend on shooting somebody if there's a situation, right?
That's true.
I don't bring boxing gloves unless I intend to box somebody at the gym.
Tell the truth.
So I believe that's where the part comes, and the law has stretched it where you have to have this intent and all that stuff. I believe it's premeditated at that point when you have that gun actually in your possession and you stick it in your car, you stick it in your back pocket. At that point, you've already decided if something happens, you're going to shoot somebody. These crimes are a little bit more heinous. They're a little bit more thought out to hurt innocent people. I think we talked about it before, and I don't want to blame it on. I mean, it's a mental health issue, but I want to know what derives this anger in these young people, because we're having an incidence of these youngsters all the time. These are young 21, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-olds, 21-year-old, 22-year-olds that are really fueling this hate to kill innocent people. I'm not going to say they're targeting people of color, because it ain't always accidentally racial. They're killing just innocent people just to shoot them.
Yeah.
And our society is not trying to drive on what is causing that issue. Why are we having a generation? This is a generation of hate. If I want to coin phrase anything, it's a generation of hate. So we need to figure out how to break that cycle and come to it if we want to continue to live safe, or we're going to be running. I mean, we're going to be just living in isolation for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, but we can't do that, right? We're talking personal. We're talking about kids. My kids still have, they still have tickets to the Kendrick Lamar show that's coming up here not too long. Now, come on, Kendrick Lamar. That's going to be a great show, right? I mean, from a performance perspective, it's going to be a great show.
Yep.
But there's going to be a whole lot of folks there. There's going to be a whole lot of different personalities there. There's going to be a whole lot of, oh, were you looking at my girl? Oh, you stepped on my shoes. I mean, but it's just going to be, I worked in the industry for over a decade. I know. It's just
I was that person. But I was that person.
Okay, so
I'm that person. I'm going to tell you a story, man, that's just funny. It's not funny. It's actually stupid on my part. We had a Cypress Hill concert.
Okay.
The crowd was pushing, right? And the guy kept pushing. The guy that happened to be behind me is the guy that kept pushing me. I felt like he kept pushing me. So I turned around. I was like, look, man, you push me one more time.
Yeah.
It's on.
Right.
The crowd waved again. Me being young, I'm the one. I swing and I'm stomping. I'm starting to fight. I started the incident of fight.
Mm-hmm.
Very now looking back on it, very stupid, very immature. But like what you're talking about, that is there in that crowd. That was someone that was just like me in that crowd. You look at me the wrong way, you touch me the wrong way, you say something the wrong way, and my mechanism when I'm young, my thing is, hey, all right, we just have to get it on. We have to fight and figure it out.
Yeah.
But now it's turned to gunplay, right? Now it's turned to, hey, if you do this to me, I'm gonna go out to my car and get it. That's where my fearfulness comes in. And your kids are a little bit older than my younger ones. I fear for my. I don't think my kids have the street savvy or street awareness to understand how to get out of those situations.
Yeah, that's one thing that you definitely want to teach, and I'm sure you taught as well with your older ones. But know everything, right? Know the exits, keep an eye, be aware. Cover your drink. I mean, do all of those things that you just have. You can't learn it in a book, right? You either have to have thought it, done it, or seen it to have some of that street savvy, and it's just not a good. But why can't you even go?
But those
to
warnings
a parade?
used to be at a house party, right? Those are warnings just for a house party.
Well,
but now it's a warning. Now those warnings are for, hey, if you're going to the local,
if
the
you're going to a parade, if you're going to a holiday parade with your younger cousin or your younger sister who's got their 4 years old, 3 years old, whatever the case may be, you got to look out for rooftops. Why? I mean, you got to look out for someone who's walking around looking suspicious, who's got a bag. I mean, all this other stuff that now just weighs on you. I mean, it weighs on everyone that's there trying to have a decent time and not cause any trouble. Now I got to worry about, this young 21-year-old dude walking around dressed as a woman, climbing up on top of the building with a high-powered rifle.
I mean, I think, but those are things I think we say we want to look out for, but those are things we don't even see coming, right? We don't see those things even coming. We see, hey, this is a time to celebrate and have a good time and enjoy it. Especially, it's always been off limits for a situation where there was kids involved, right?
Yeah.
Kids were like the sanctuary. When there was events that were involving kids, that's kind of like, that's a taboo. We don't touch that.
Right.
Those are no longer
that's
off
gone
limits.
now. Yeah, that's gone now, right? It's everyone is fair game, and it's when did this shift happen, folks? We'll get into some sports in a little bit, but listen, we got to cover social impact, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about these particular situations. When did this shift, right? Because back in our day, we would fight. Yeah, we would go out to the local playground or whatever. We'd duke them up, but afterwards we'd go home.
We go home.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
Go home. And I think not only that, it used to be the shift, like we said, it would be an individual, it would be a problem between me and you.
Yeah.
Or then it would be just a problem between my friends and your friends. Now it's a problem me against everybody.
Yeah.
Which I don't know where that shift came from. Like the whole world is out to get me, or I'm shooting anyone that's not in my circle, or I want to kill anyone that's not in my circle or not around me. That part, I don't know where that shift came from. It's easy. I mean, if you're an enemy, that's different, right? If you're someone I have a problem with, that's an understandable why you would have, not kill someone, but that's why you would have a problem with someone.
Right.
Now these young kids have a problem with everybody. I mean, from the school shooting, like that boy didn't have nothing to do with. He didn't know none of those elementary kids, but yet he wanted to kill all of them. This man didn't know anyone in these crowd of people that's walking in a parade, and you want to shoot them
just random.
Yeah, the guy that did the Las Vegas concert, he just busted out a window and shot outside a window into an open crowd in a concert.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I'm not understanding is how are they able to stockpile these weapons and ammunition, right?
Yeah, without bring so much in without somebody seeing it. Yeah, without somebody seeing it.
Or some type of flag. I mean, with technology we have today, you should be able to flag if anyone ordered any number amount of ammunition or any gun or anything online. It should notify every police department in the nation, in the country.
Yep.
Yeah. We're so far behind in that technology or acknowledging that technology, it doesn't make any sense now with all these senseless killings that are going on. And they're not just like killings of enemies, they're mass murders of innocent people. So there's where, like I said, we're living in a state of fear now. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if you do, but I don't feel comfortable sending my daughter to go to a parade.
No, yeah. I'm really contemplating. So they had tickets to the Weeknd and Doja Cat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very glad that Doja backed out because she had surgery. So I'm glad they're not going to that show. Don't nobody want to see The Weeknd anyway. So they're not going to that one. But I'm really, man. Do I rob them? See, here's a dilemma. I rob them of this very cool, what could be a very cool experience out of fear, out of the possibility that something does happen. Because look, I would love to go see Kendrick as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or do I say, listen, and do I say no? Y'all not going because we're scared now. So now the terrorists, yeah, I'm calling them terror. Now the terrorists win.
They won. I think they've already won. I'm not going.
Wow.
I'm not going to. Don't get me wrong. You're right. I don't want to rob them of the opportunity to have a good time or rob them of the opportunity to see a wonderful show or any of those things. But at some point, I have to draw the line as a parent to say, you know what? What's going to be more beneficial? Because right now, if I, and I'm not throwing fear in your thing, but in Sacramento and downtown, there's been a random shot. There's been a number of shootings going on down there.
They acting up down here for sure.
Yeah. So why would I send my child in that combat zone? Whether it's Kendrick Lamar or President Obama, I could care less about sending them in any of that situation if I think that can happen. I know I've been to Sacramento. I grew up as a kid. Oh, nothing's gonna happen to me. I can get out of that. But the thing is, bullets don't have no name. They really don't.
Wow.
They don't have anything. Yep. And I don't want my child to be an innocent victim. You know what I mean? I don't want to take that chance. I wouldn't want to take that chance. But again, my kids are younger than my daughters are a lot younger than yours.
Yeah.
So yours may have a little bit more. She probably knows a little bit savvy, know when to get out. My daughters will probably be fascinated about everything that's going on and standing around and see what might happen because it's just young. She's only 15 years old. So it's just, man, we're living in a state of fear. I hate to say it.
Yeah,
we are. And if people don't want to acknowledge that, I think they're if they don't think about that or they don't acknowledge it, I think they're fools right now because I'm sure those 7 people didn't think anything was going to happen to them that day they woke up at a parade, at a 4th of July parade.
Come on, right? Yeah. I like what my dad said. Well, it's just reality. But he says being scared is a normal reaction to what's going on. I think being aware and being cognizant and just, again, knowing your surroundings. You can't plan for necessarily every situation because you never thought someone would do that. But increase your chances of escape or survival or leaving without issue if you either don't draw attention to yourself or just be aware of your surroundings. I don't know. There's nothing good happening when it comes to these conversations, but they still need to have they need to have happen these conversations.
Yes, I agree with you. We have to be able to talk about these things because you will enlighten people about what's going on in the situations that's there. I think what you're talking about, I always call it my spider senses, right? You always want to keep your spider senses on tingling in any situation. But I believe you also have to know your child and know your kid or know yourself in those situations when to leave and when not to leave. If there's an escalation that's about to happen or somebody's arguing, it's time to go. I don't care if he's on his first song. It's time to go.
It's time to go.
It's time to go because this don't look like it's going to happen really good. Or is it a situation where, it's no big deal. Everything's it's going to be kind of cool. It's all right.
Yeah.
So I really believe, man, I'm in a fearful state because, like I said, I don't think my kids they don't have enough sense to get themselves out of that situation as of right now.
Right.
They're not aware of it. My older ones, I would feel, hey, if they're going to go, okay, I feel comfortable. You know how to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Make sure you just be super careful. But I would worry to death until I got that phone call.
Listen, that's our job. Right? That's our job. Listen, I still stay up. Listen, they both home for summer right now. I still stay up until they come home, until the lights. Come on, that's our job. But
man. So, but I feel bad I really do feel bad for situations. I think me personally, I think what's going to happen, and I hope it doesn't happen, but I think we're going to start seeing closures of parks and shutdowns of parades and shutdowns of events as these things keep coming up, and rightfully so. I mean, none of these events are worth anyone's lives. They're not worth anyone's lives, and we're starting to consistently have these things, and I just don't know where to stop. Like I said, I wish we could drive down to what's the root of this hate that this generation has against people and why they want to take it out on people in such a drastic way. But I don't know. I don't have the answer. I wish we had a psychologist in the building that can kind of give us some perspective what's going on.
Yeah, Unfortunately, we keep having to have these conversations, and I know that there's someone who studies the mind who we can reach out to and probably come on one of these days. Because right now it's two different stories, right? It's the story of the hate, it's the story of wanting to take everyone out, and
Hmm.
then it's back to the story. I'm gonna go back to it. The
Yeah.
Jalen
Yep.
Walker, the story of excessive force by the police department on a man who had nothing on him, who was running. Yeah, he was running, but come on. You don't need 8 police officers shooting and hitting him 60 times and putting all these bullet holes in him.
But see, you know what? I have a problem with that story because at first they said he shot at him. That was the first deliberate story that he shot at them.
Yeah.
He didn't have a weapon. We found out we didn't have a weapon. Not only did he not shoot at him, because he was running. Yeah, he ran, he fled. You had his car. Okay, he's a
Sick a
fleeting
dog on him, man.
pedestrian.
Come on, you got dogs.
Yeah.
Put the
So
dog
dog
on him.
on it. Something that's non-lethal. Do something that's non-lethal to arrest a man.
For a traffic stop. It was a traffic
You
stop.
shot him. You hit him 60
You hit him
times.
60
You
times.
shot him 97 times.
Yeah,
Think about that.
8+ officers. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but more than a handful of officers are shooting their Glocks.
I talked to my buddy. My buddy said each one of the police officers' guns holds 16 bullets.
Okay.
So 8 times 16. Well, what is that? 80, whatever time.
Yeah.
So at least 6 of those officers emptied their clips.
So somebody reloaded. Somebody in
well,
the
not
midst of
necessarily. We're going to say at least 6 of them.
Yeah.
6 of them emptied it because it was 97 bullets.
Yeah.
8 times 16 is 100 and whatever. 100. I think it's 100.
Yeah. No.
124 or something like that. I can't think off the top of my head. Sorry, I need pencil and paper. I'm old school.
I was gonna say we old school, yeah.
but with that being said, at least 6 of those officers emptied their clip.
Yep.
On this man. Now, with that being said, over 60% bullets hit that man.
Yes.
So he obviously didn't stand up for 60 bullets. He didn't stand up and take 60 bullets. His body fell to the ground at some point, and you still kept shooting him.
Yeah. And if he's listen, I'm in technology. I'm not in law. I'm not into physics or science. I don't know these things. I just know what I'm an armchair quarterback here. If he's one person running away, you shoot him 3 times and he falls. Stop shooting. He's not going nowhere. Yeah, right. If I don't know, right? I'm just trying to make some sense out of why a man needs 60 holes in him.
If it's a traffic stop, it's not like you were at a drug raid and somebody has a gun, right?
Yeah.
You weren't in that situation. It wasn't in a situation where this guy's been called, he had a deadly weapon on him, and he's drawing down on people, innocent people.
Yeah.
This was a traffic stop. Again, why don't you stick the K9 on him?
Yeah, man. Come on. You got K9s, you got tasers. I mean, you got all kind of other, I'm sure you got other things. So this up until this morning, hold on, and let's go into it, because up until this morning, that was the worst part of this story right here. 60 shots in a man who was running away. The most sickening thing that I saw about this, and I'll put it on the screen, is this story, right? This piece of additional information that came out. They handcuffed a man after he was dead in the car. So why'd they put the handcuffs on him? This just blew me away right here. Why go through all that extra effort to cover up? I don't know. Why did they put
we're being polite about it, James. We're being polite. This is obviously a racial issue. Those are racist cops.
What's up?
They were able to do that, huh?
No, I was saying no. Yeah, so this just seemed to be more out of the ordinary, right? To go ahead after you already dropped. And where was this at?
I don't think so.
This was in Akron, Ohio.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. This out of the ordinary, because think about it. When you have somebody submissive down and they're down, they kick him in the head. They do whatever they after they handcuffed him, if he's alive or whatever, after they finish beating on him. What's the difference between them shooting them? If you don't treat that person or think that person's human, you treat them like an animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to animals? As soon as they shoot a deer, whatever, they tie him up, right? He's dead. They still tie the deer on up. Am I correct? Their legs and stuff. What's the difference between him? If you don't think he's a human, you shot him with handcuffs. Yeah. And they'll say that's procedure. Well, after we do something like we have to make sure they're not going to do it. You shot the man 60 times. He had holes all over his body. Don't have the decency. You just have you handcuff him at that point, man. I think because they look at young African American men less than human. They are
Yeah,
hunt. They're let's be straight. They hunted that man down. They hunted him. As
yeah.
soon as he had the most to run, they hunted him down, and they shot him as many times as they possibly could. Because
That,
there's no call for that.
that is true. I think you mentioned the word about procedure, and I'm in this story right here that's in CNN. They were talking about we're waiting to find out what that procedure is, as to why they put these handcuffs on them. Right. I want to hear the story out of the mouth of the Akron Police Department to
Why?
see.
It's gonna be a lie.
I,
I mean,
you
you're gonna hear the story from the chief of police who's covering up the lie that his officers did. I'm not for I'm not for defunding police at all. I'm not. I think police need more money, to be honest with you. But the fact of the matter,
more morning, more
there is
training.
there is too many racial incidences in the Midwest, and even on the West Coast, everywhere, of cops brutalizing black people,
Yeah.
brown people. I mean, we're going over and over and over again. This story is worse than George Floyd to me. I hate to say it is, but it's definitely not getting the attention it deserves.
It is because of, yeah, it is.
The brutality of it is.
Yeah,
because of the brutality, it's worse than George Floyd.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we have a ranking system here of that magnitude. But
that's a damn shame that we have to say something like that. That's what you can say about it.
Yeah.
But I believe this is worse because the brutality of this crime committed against this man over a traffic stop. We lost George Floyd being choked to death over a counterfeit $20 bill, which he should have just been cited for and been able to leave. This man had a traffic stop, no drugs, nothing in his car. He ran for whatever reason. We don't know what was said to him why he ran. He ran and he got shot 60 times and shot at 97 times.
Yep.
That's unimaginable.
Yeah,
I can't even. I don't even know. You can't even think of nothing like that. They don't even do animals that bad. They don't even shoot animals that much. An overkill.
Yeah. So I don't like. I really don't like. I don't like covering these stories, obviously, but I do like the fact that we do cover these stories, if that makes sense, right? Because
I mean, it's something we gotta. I think you got to talk about any of these things, man. If you want to come to any resolution, any conclusion, it has to be discussed. Unfortunately, I'm angry about it. I know people can hear it in my voice. I'm angry about it. I just don't, man. That's just brutal. That's treating someone less than a human. That's treating a person less than they are a human. And the fact of the matter, they don't treat animals that bad.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a hunter shooting a deer 60 times. I never heard of anyone hunting anything shooting it 60 times.
Yeah, there's more humane conversations about taking down a game, right? A cow, bull, whatever, deer,
absolutely,
elk, things of that nature, right? As opposed to
we talk about think about James. They ran on the basketball field about how they treat chickens, right? How they were treating chickens. There was all this uproar about how the owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves treated his chicken farms.
Yeah.
So they were painting themselves and gluing themselves to the floor.
Yeah.
Where's the outrage about shooting a human 60 times?
Yeah.
Where's that person gluing herself to the baseball field, talking about look how you police officers are doing humans, shooting them 60 times. Your protocol or this incident. Man, it's just like I said, society treats animals sometimes better than they treat humans. And they really it seems in this instant, they would treat an animal way better than they treated that young man by overkilling them. And I'm very sad because it's not getting national attention. Yeah. This story should be on every front page of every story, talking about holding the Akron police accountable.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they should be brought up on criminal charges.
Somebody needs to be, and somebody hopefully will. And MDH, I mean, this is everyone's issue, right? I know you say you're sorry, but and I'm so glad to have you here, partner. But this is just this affects everyone. Right, because I don't know if you were here. We were talking about the Highland Park situation as well, and then now the Jayland Walker situation. But this level of hate that's brewing, that's with this generation seemingly more. This level of disrespect for minorities, for anyone who is not like them or you, whatever the case may be, right? So, and it's not just us just being targeted, but we are being targeted quite a bit. So I don't want to just pigeonhole it and say that piece, but it's just why are the ones that are in authority to supposed to be protecting and serving everyone going out there and hunting down an individual who was at a stoplight, stopped for a traffic altercation or incident? Why did 8 officers hit him 60 times? Then why did they cover it up, put him in the body bag, have the autopsy, and the medical examiner said, "Oh, he had handcuffs on after he was dead." Why'd you do that? You know,
Wait.
who's the officer in charge that said, "No, let's put these handcuffs on him so it can look like
I,
something different, draw
I
attention
can't
away."
believe any. I don't believe any accurate story because what makes you say he wasn't handcuffed before they shot him?
Man, boy,
What if he was running one handcuff? We could in that video. They talk about see the video. I
yeah,
heard gunshots fired, but I couldn't see nobody running, and I damn sure didn't see nobody turn around and look like they was aiming a gun at him. So what makes us think that he wasn't handcuffed and he ran with handcuffs on? I don't know what to believe with accurate police officers because the story has been so spotty.
yeah,
All that we do know from the facts is that this man was shot 60 times. He was hit 60 with 60 bullets in his body.
yeah.
He was handcuffed at some point, whether before or after he was dead. And I'm saying why that brutality on any human being is crazy. Let's just take the incidents right now from the Chicago incidents. They took that man in with no problem and no custody. White 20-year-old, black 25-year-old at a traffic stop somehow gets shot 60 times. And Akron and Chicago are not that far apart.
That's true.
So you can't tell me that circle ain't that far apart. So what is the national training on police etiquette or police procedure that goes on in situations? Because I'm seeing a whole different law and a whole different way that they approach crimes. Against people that look like me, we get killed. We either get choked or we get shot or we get brutalized. People that don't look like me get taken into custody and get a chance at their trial to be able to complain insanity or whatnot. We seen it in Buffalo. We seen it in North Carolina. They ask these kids, they take them in with no problem at all. Us, it seems there's always a problem. We get choked out for selling freaking bootleg tapes or passing a fake $20 bill.
Yeah.
We get killed, bro. If people don't want to see it, man, it's freaking a shame. It's a shame, man. It's unfair, and then they wonder why there's such a thing as angry people of color.
Yeah. Why are we so upset?
We don't get the same treatment. We don't get treated as equals at all. And this is 100 years after slavery, man. We still don't get treated equal. We've been voting for the last damn near 70 years. We still don't get treated equal. We think we're lying on votes. Everything is us is a lie, or it's we have all this hatred and this built up animosity against us, and I don't know what we've done to deserve that, to be honest with you. And it's just carried over from year after year.
Which is the best statement to say what I said at the very beginning. I just did not feel comfortable this particular year of reciting them words of the pledge. I stood there out of respect for everyone that served, because they put their heart, soul, mind, and life on the lines a lot of times. But man, there's some things that's going on.
It's really hard. I think it's really hard.
Really hard.
It's really hard for people to stand up. I mean, and be all in, on a country that's right now. I think we're divided. I mean, people don't want to ever admit it. They don't want to say it, but we are divided in our beliefs, not only political beliefs, but definitely, our racial makeup. And now this anger thing is really taking its toll. Not only, like you said, from, outlashing on somebody, but like you said, the people that are supposed to protect us, man, it's like, how do we feel protected? Half of us feel protected, the other half, we feel threatened. Yeah. It's crazy. We live in a different world.
Let's get some psychologists on here. Let's get some folks who can help us dissect the mind a little bit and talk about those things. So folks that are listening and watching on a replay or here live, if you know someone, just shoot us their email and we'll do
or can we get a police officer?
Come on now. There we go. Let's get someone with a badge on here.
Yeah.
Listen, it'll be we won't be ganging up on you. We just want to have the dialogue. We are concerned citizens who want to have the conversation to make ourselves aware of what to expect, things of that.
I would love to have a candid conversation with an officer, and we can take the verbal gloves off and talk and
Yeah,
speak, and then
yeah.
we can be kumbaya afterwards. But I would love to have a chat with him.
I love it. I love it. Moving along and getting more into some of the sports stories. Unfortunately, again, we're talking about negative issues within sports to start off with. Folks, we'll get into something that's a little lighter in conversation and topic. Appreciate you, friend. Miles Bridges. I don't know. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was that good in the first place, to be honest with you. But Miles, here we go again with another story of a young man putting his hands on a woman, right? Another man, verbally, physically, emotionally, all of that, abusing his wife, and she's gotten to the point, and good for her. She's gotten to the point. One, she's able to get out of it, right, out of the relationship, out of the situation. But she's gotten to the point. You said, listen, enough is enough. This man is not gonna mess around and put his hands on me in front of our kids ever again. So she's going public. She's showing these images of the last time that she was in the hospital getting tended to after being beaten by this man, by being choked, by being all kinds of negativity happening to her. So again, another type of sad story that we're just tired of hearing. And why is it that these athletes, that these entertainers, well, I know why we see it, because they're the ones that are in the public spotlight. We know this happens all the time everywhere else, but why do these individuals think that they have the right to put their hands on someone and cause bodily harm to someone that they quote unquote love, and that, like in this situation, they're married to and they have children with? What is that power dynamic? Why does that make sense? And
It's that I believe it's that third influencer called alcohol.
yeah. So
That
why do you
alcohol.
go? How do you go from this image right here, right, to
I,
hitting your woman in the head right here, to where now she's bleeding out of her ear? How do you
because
do that?
I can't justify it, and I don't know. I don't know how you get that certain situation. I don't know why you would ever put your hands on a woman when you can just walk away from
Yeah.
the situation. Man, that's me personally. I
Yeah.
think if it ever gets to be that heated, that hot, that I get that furious, just walk away. Let me go walk away, and let me digest whatever the hell just happened in that argument before I will put my hands on anything. I believe in this situation, it's probably been covered up for so long, someone's massive situation for so long, whether it be her or people that are around him have to try to ignore it and try to sweep it under the rug. And this man obviously has a problem. He has a problem. But I always think that third influencer always comes in. I believe, usually in these situations, I think most people, when they're not under influence, I would hope not under influence, does these things. But I know that plays a big part in a lot of domestic violence cases, whether it be that alcohol or some other substance, and that just escalates to our argument, and they feel the right to be able to do that. I don't want to use that as an excuse. It's not. But all those things combined, these situations happen. I'm so proud of her that she stepped up and said, you know what, enough is enough.
Yeah.
And, hey, there's no need to be silent anymore. You shouldn't have been silent in the first place. I wish she would have said something the first time he put her hands on her.
Yeah, since 2016, as you see here from this story, that they've been having issues, and just you think, look, Michelle Johnson, she's 24 years young, right? For someone this young to be going through all this turmoil and trauma and this roller coaster, to go from a happy relationship to having children to now living through, since 2016 to 2022, just
6 years. She's been in 6 years of being in a situation where she's been getting brutalized by a man.
Time to go. That ain't right. That ain't.
Man, that's he. I mean,
childish.
I never want to see a young man have to go to jail, but man, I'm sorry. Hey, man, you need to go do some time and sit down for a minute and figure out what you're doing. Because there's nowhere in the book that's right. In the book of love, where that's right for you to be able to put your hands on her or to be in that situation. You need to go. You need to be charged. She needs to get half your money. She needs all those things that are coming to you. You rightfully deserve.
And he's
putting your
and
hands
he's
on it.
$100 million man. So
Yeah,
so so think about that, right? Everybody, folks that don't have money think that money buys you happiness. But what we're seeing a lot of times, and again, it's because folks that have that money, they're in the public eye. So we're seeing a lot of drug abuse, alcoholism. We're seeing a lot of domestic violence. We're seeing a lot of just negativity happening when you have that one extra component in your life, when you got all this money. So,
but you notice the victim. The victim tolerates it because she wants to sustain in that lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
The victim wants to sustain in that lifestyle. The victim wants to remain in that limelight. She enjoys the great parts of the relationship, right? Where we're celebrities and we're doing this and doing that. But like you said, that dark side, when they get home or whatever he's doing, he's being this abusive person. And I'm sure the physical abuse is just one part. I can't imagine the verbal abuse she's going through.
Yeah,
imagine
going home to that household, and then again, when you got kids around it. I mean, and Bridges. So check this story. This is not his first time being in an altercation. It's not just his wife he's hitting. He's striking fans, right? So he's already been fined $50,000 for acting a fool and striking fans at a game. And yet still, he's playing this game, and that's his career. That's his job, and I think he's up for contract renegotiation, $120 or some $1 million over X number of years.
I believe they should treat this situation like they're treating the Deshaun Watson situation. He should be suspended for at least a year. Prove that he's went through counseling, prove he's done whatever he needs to do, handle whatever he needs to do legally with his wife, the situation. After all that's done, then you can file for petition to get back into the league. Yes, they should take away his livelihood for doing something like this, because if my wife showed pictures like this and my work saw it, I would probably be immediately somehow fired. They would figure out a way to make sure they got me out, because they don't believe in brutalizing women either. And I don't understand why this man, was able to still have his job in the profession the way he's in by brutalizing his wife. That's not fair to her, not fair to anyone. I don't believe in cutting anyone's livelihood off, but this is a criminal charge, man. This is assault. This is assault on somebody.
Yeah.
You're doing it because you're bigger and physically intimidating her, because you damn sure ain't swinging nobody in your locker room when you're mad at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not
true. He knows his bounds for sure. And yeah. Let me say this. Hey, Corey, if you got some welcome to the show, man. I was watching a little bit your last show. Appreciate you for jumping in. Talk to us a little bit. If you telling us we need to stop about the mouthpiece, that we were talking about that just in reference to just maybe a pattern with this guy, right? Why is he meeting up his wife? And unfortunately, right, that just doesn't make sense at all. We unfortunately keep having that conversation on this show about these entertainers and these athletes and these public figures that are caught up in domestic violence. Don't like that at all. But now, why are we seeing where he's actually lashing out at others as well? I can understand maybe the heat of passion. The heat of competition, and you throw a ball up in the stands and you throw them out, whatever. But talk to us about your thoughts are about this right here. Tony Davis, I see you, man. See, not saying that athletes are sane, but it's nice again. Mental health needs to be evaluated. Interesting statement right there. I like that.
But see, I don't believe it. See, Tony, I would disagree with Tony on that one.
Is that right? Okay, talk to us a little bit about that.
Because he ain't mental health when he's shooting those baskets. He ain't in mental health when he's bubbling up at the bar or kicking it with his homeboys. He ain't in mental health issues in none of those situations. But it's a mental health issue when he wants to lash out at his wife. That is something that either he saw before and he thought it was okay. It's a taught behavior, or it's an issue that he needs to address with his anger. Period. This dude is 6'9", 6'10", over 235 pounds. Walk away. There's nothing that's going to keep you from walking out of the door when you're mad at your woman. Walk. Go somewhere. I'd rather for the situation to be saying he had infidelities with another woman than for him to go beat on his wife.
Yeah.
Why do you have to beat on his wife to the point where she has to go to hitting her is wrong, period. But he's beating her to where she had to go to the hospital. There ain't no mental issue in that, man. He got enough capacity to sign that damn contract. He got enough capacity to keep his hands to himself.
Come on.
That's just where I'm coming from. And I agree with Tallboy. The mouthpiece thing, that was a part of the heat of the game. He threw his mouthpiece at somebody. That's not part of a pattern, I don't think. That's just emotions during the game. But the fact of the matter that that does show that he loses his temper and he outlashes. Doesn't outlash when hitting people in there, but he outlashes when he loses his temper. So I can only imagine if that's the case when he goes home, this is a part of his outlash when he's either frustrated with his wife, frustrated in an argument, or frustrated with a situation. He chooses to put his hands on. And I think that's wrong. She deserves everything she's going to get.
Yeah. And I want to put this up here. So our premise and our reason for talking about this story is exactly what Montel just said right now. There's zero excuse for a man to put his hands on a woman at all. Yeah, she may have done something. She may have stepped in front of the door and said, "You not leaving." She may have done whatever, said something bad about his mama, all that, whatever. But at the end of the day, come on, you got to have some kind of home training. You got to know better. You got to be better yourself than to go around and start beating up on a woman when you are 6'8", 6'9", 250 or whatever pounds, that kind of thing.
Brother, hey, she blocked the front door, go out the back door. Shoot, he got more doors in his house he can live with. Get out of the house and just walk away, man. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing, like I said, there's just no excuse for a man that big in that situation to have to put his hands on her. And there's no argument that strong. She can be questioning about everything under the sun. If he don't want to hear it, leave. And if you don't like her that much, divorce her. And I know divorce costs a lot of money, but that's going to cost him that money plus a charge now because he put his hands on her. So I mean, just walk out of the situation, man, and walk away. And I know these guys have enough money and enough sense and enough aptitude to say, you know what, the situations get too hot, let me just go. And I don't understand why they don't exercise that right. Why do you have to try to impose your will on somebody by putting your hands on them outside of your sport or outside of the realm when you're able to do that? Especially your woman. You're never supposed to put that on your woman. Like I said, if it's that bad, just leave, man. I mean, no matter what she does, she can tell you she slept with your best friend. All right, you know what? I'm out. We get a divorce. Peace. See you later. Yeah. That's the way you handle the situation. Not beat her and beat her like that. Where it looked like he broke her nose, man.
Yeah, and I know that's not all of the photos right there. The comments are blowing up, and I want to be cognizant. I want to be respectful to the comments too. And Corey, I see what you're saying. It's so easy to say that until you are in that situation. So yeah. Listen, I haven't personally been in that situation, so I'm armchair quarterback, and I'm third person looking in. But again, and you say that you have been in that typical type of a situation. So sorry for you for being in that situation. I hope it worked out okay for you. But again, at the end of the day, third person looking in. Again, I'm the guy right now. This is my show. I'm sticking one finger out and saying there's no reason in the world for a man to put his hands on a woman. So find a way to get away from that particular situation. I would love for you to come on here sometime and talk about it if you feel comfortable with it. Let's do that.
But see, wait. Before we go, James, though, there's a difference between a fight and a domestic abuse. I don't think people clarify that. If the woman is hitting you and scratching you and punching you in your face, you have a right to defend yourself. That's completely different than you beating on a woman. Completely different. You're defending yourself in a domestic fight. This is domestic abuse. There's a line between there. And I think people need to understand that. If a woman is there throwing stuff at you and hitting you and fighting on you and scratching you and doing all those things to provoke you to get in that situation to hit her and you have to defend yourself, by all means, I believe every person is supposed to defend themselves, just like a woman's supposed to defend herself against a man. But abuse, where you're beating on this woman for no reason because you're having an argument or you're frustrated, you're mad, or you're abusing this person and verbally abusing this person, I'm zero tolerance as far as that's concerned. So I think there's a fine line there. I hope people can understand that.
Yeah. I was trying to during your conversation, I was trying to find some other stories and some more information on Miles Bridges. Found out the boy's a rapper, but I'm gonna do a little more investigation on his backstory, and maybe, unfortunately, this is going to continue to evolve. So maybe next week we can dive into kind of a part 2 and see what this is all about. Interesting, like you were saying, kind of like the Chris Brown and the Rihanna story. Situation that unfolded as well. Okay, I see. I think I see where you're going on that. Tony, we always find that these guys have missing brain pieces after they have done these types of actions. We find in death. Yeah, that's 50% funny and that's 50% not, because the next story that we gonna go into is almost like you reading our show notes here, brother. But you know what, you're right, right? We kind of find out that something was going wrong with someone internally. Unfortunately, we find out after it's too late, and probably wish we could have, in hindsight, known something to help some. God,
y'all giving passes, man. I don't know. Y'all giving some passes.
I'm trying to find the way to fix this, right? And I know that's probably overly optimistic, to be honest with you. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find some silver lining. I'm trying to find glass half full instead of always at the bottom end. I am.
I'm hearing you. Don't get me wrong. I'm hearing y'all, and I respect all you guys' opinion. I get it, but I don't know, man.
Go ahead and bring the smoke, brother.
That's just a little stretch for me, man. I mean, sometimes something bad is bad. I mean, he been beating her since 2016. This ain't like one incident. This ain't like it just happened. Like they had an argument, they got in a fight, and he beat her. 2016. He's an abusive man. Period. That's just what it is. And I would say if you said football, maybe I would say, yeah, maybe he might got some CT issues or something like that. Basketball, man, there ain't no CT issues in basketball. No. There's none of that there. So I don't know if that's the case. I just believe he's a guy that's been the abuser in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
He needs to take accountability for it and get help for it, because people can't get help in those situations. But in the meantime, he's going to pay the price for it. And like I said, I agree with Tallboy. I think there's a situation. If there's a domestic fight, that's completely different than domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
A domestic fight is a one-time incident that happens between both parties throwing blows. Abuse, man, from 2016 to 2022, bro, that's abuse.
That is a pattern. That's a pattern. That's abuse.
And I'm not giving homeboy a pass for that. I mean, bro, now don't get me wrong. It may be something that was accepted in this household when he was younger, and he thinks that's the right thing to do. I don't know his background, because sometimes it just carries over. They think that's normal in their lifestyle or whatever, how they go.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, he should have enough aptitude to understand you're not supposed to hit your woman.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to beat her when she goes to the hospital. You're not supposed to be if he's capable of signing a $100 million contract, he's capable of understanding what he's supposed to do or not supposed to do. And one of those things are you're not supposed to hit your woman like that. Yeah. If the situation is that bad, you need to go.
Damn. All right, my God.
Yeah, I got you, Tony. I agree with you, man. It is pattern. I feel you. I'm just clarifying.
Love my thought process. Yeah, but who was crazy for staying? Ooh, come on now.
See, I agree with you on that one.
Come on, that's a whole nother avenue right there. Why stay?
I mean, I said it already.
Yeah,
she stays in a relationship because she likes that lifestyle. She likes being that superstar's wife, or whatever you want to be. She loves living in that thing. I think she's crazy for staying there. She should have divorced a long time ago. But she waited till he got that payday or whatever now to address the situation. I totally agree with you. And I totally agree there's something there as well. And that's a whole different conversation. Absolutely right.
Man, that's a whole hour in and of itself. And then Kiona, thank you for being here. He says he is big enough to pick her up and move her out of his way so he can exit the situation. Period. She sees coins and lifestyle.
That's my niece right there, man. Shout out to my niece.
Right on now.
Yeah.
We touched on it about mental aptitude, mental issues, maybe unfortunately after we've lost someone, and we've got some stories and some information about young man we lost, Demaryius Thomas. So actually came back and found out that he was suffering from stage 2 CTE, which explains a little bit, but again, it's unfortunate that was the case. Wish we could have done something for him ahead of time. But the story here says, but that's not the whole story, because again, he had that car accident that he was in, so that is actually where he hit his head against the windshield, and subsequent after that car wreck that he had, I believe that was in 2019. That's when he started having uncontrollable seizures. That's when he really was not able.
I think that's what the NFL wants you to believe. So they don't get sued.
So again, that's kind of where I was going. So since 2019, that's when he started having the seizures, and that's when he says it was uncontrollable, unable to be properly medicated, and with that diagnosis is what ended his NFL career. right? That at that point when the doctors or someone wrote down and says, we can't fix him, right? We can't help him get better. That's when Demaryius started going into a depression. That's when he started having additional issues as well, internally and mentally, that caused him to slide and then obviously not be a candidate to get back into the NFL. But it's just the family is saying that they are at least relieved to have some sort of closure, some sort of information, right? In terms of what happened to Demaryius. But come on, this man was 33 years, again, young. We lost him. And CTE, we've heard that a number of times, again, with some of these high impact types of activities, football or whatever the case may be. But your thoughts on this, man? Because listen, I know just like me, you watched this man play, and we're we loved
Yeah,
his gamesmanship. So
I mean, I just think, well, first the NFL is the one that's kind of putting a spin on this story, or the ones liking this report, saying that the accident caused him to kind of have this extenuation situation where he was having these uncontrollable seizures from CTE. Anybody that's played football, including myself, that's played it for so long, from Pop Warner to high school to college, and if you're fortunate enough to make it to the professional levels, you got to think grown men are running into people with a high impact. It's gonna do damage. I mean, it does damage, but it's the lifestyle and what we sign up for. So I wouldn't change anything about it if I had it, or anyone I had it. I wouldn't change. It's just that's what you sign up to be and want to participate in. I think in his situation, though, I think he might have had some cases of CTE or maybe some scratches of it, and the accident probably helped, speed up the process of it
yeah,
going with another big bang on the head. They kind of messed him up neurological. I don't even know how to say it. The neural, a lot, however you say it, the
yeah,
neural part
yeah,
that affects his body, and his nervous system. And I think that this report gets the NFL off the hook from being sued. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? This, along with football, caused the seizures. This, along with the context he had in seizures, were those things. This is unfortunate, man. A 35-year-old man, life has passed away due to that and due to this situation. And I'm glad his family finds some type of silver lining, getting closure
yeah,
from it. But my prayers go out to them, man. I mean, that's just got to be a hard thing to kind of deal with and understand. You go from a situation where you're a professional athlete to you're in a situation now where you're having uncontrollable seizures after an accident. You can't control yourself or your body. And you make, the way you move and things that go along that way. And you're at the age of 35.
yeah,
I can only imagine that puts you in a dark place. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That just puts you in a dark place. I was at the top of the world, the epitome of my sport, the epitome of doing things. And now I can't control my body at all. So I just pray for his family, man. I hope they can get to the bottom of it. I hope the NFL sees their wrongdoing in the situation. Or I should say wrongdoing, but the cause and effect in their situation, where they can, maybe hopefully this family can be compensated somehow, somewhat way, and that they can somehow have a silver lining getting over this situation.
yeah. I'd be interested in actually having a follow up conversation with some of the people that we've already had here on the show who played on the professional level, and ask what services does the league provide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just insurance, but not just but counseling, but just support, all of those extra things to help the family out. I know the family is talking about setting up a fund, setting up a specific day, July 16th in Dublin, Georgia, which will be Demaryius Thomas Day, and that kind of thing, and they're going to fire off like 88 balloons because that was his number. Look, I was at that
Yep.
game. Right, because that game
Mm-hmm.
was in Santa Clara. I was there interviewing the teams, and I remember, I explicitly remember him, and I'm sore loser Cam Newton and all that as well. But so there's my connection, which kind of makes it somewhat personal. I'm just throwing
Mm-hmm.
that out there. But again, to be so young to have lost his life, um, yeah, it's just sad. It's just a very sad situation.
Yeah, it's just tough, man. I mean, to be so young, usually CTE sets in later. You know what I mean? It sets in a lot later. So I'm thinking when he might have had starting points of it or like the beginning phases of it, but I think that car accident probably made it just
Yeah.
accelerate.
Yeah, the
You know,
accident, and for Tony, he was going 70 in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. He lost
yeah,
control, right, and hit his head on the windshield. So that Look, that Maris, that was his fault, right? Again,
Yeah.
there's no need for that, and unfortunately, that there was a consequence to doing whatever he was doing, reckless driving, or just doing whatever he was doing, right?
Hmm.
So there is a situation on that. So yeah, 30 mile zone, he was going 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, but that didn't cause his death. The cause of death was
No,
CTE, which kind of I want
yes,
to circle back to
yeah,
was CTE. So
good way to keep it in
CTA again
perspective.
is the process that happens when you're playing football, right? It's
Yeah,
something that we know that happens.
yeah.
I think, like I said, that car accident, he probably had some type of stages of CTE,
Mm-hmm.
but that part of the car accident, I mean, I think if his head went through the windshield, or his head hit the windshield that hard, it probably was another bruise on the brain. They couldn't heal.
Yep.
Couldn't get to that point that damaged some of those nerves and everything, and then now he's in that situation. So it's just unfortunate all the way around. I hope his family, like I said, I pray for his family to kind of figure, get through this situation, these tough times. But I would hope the NFL would step in and like acknowledge that
Do
the
something.
game also caught as well.
Yeah,
It ain't just like, hey, he had a car accident, he got CTE, and that's
yeah.
what happened. No, it's
No,
not that. It's a combination of both things that happened.
Go ahead, Goodell. Go ahead, and step up. Right. I mean, you're not batting 1,000 in
He
terms
won't.
of
He won't, man. You telling me he ain't gonna step up, but I mean, I'm
well,
gonna put it down.
I'm gonna put it out there in the
Today.
atmosphere. I'm gonna put it out there in the and see what we can see. We've really got 3 stories, but not gonna go through all 3 stories. Gonna give y'all a little FOMO, make you wait till next week because one of them can wait. I know what we're gonna do because we've talked about this so darn many times, and now the person at the center of the situation is pleading for assistance.
Okay.
So we've talked about
Oh,
Brittany from since, you see how I set that up, man. It's
yeah.
almost like your boy. I should work for the news station. Listen, we talked about Brittany since day one, saying that there needs to be more attention put on this. There needs to be somebody to own this situation, someone to actually help get this woman back home. Her wife's talking about it, saying, "Hey, uh, let's bring her home. Hey, U.S. Government, we were supposed to have a phone call. The State Department messed that all up, and we couldn't even do the phone call. Come on now, let's take this seriously." It's gotten to the point now she's sitting in this jail, and she has to write her own letter to the President of the United States and say, you need to do something, and you need to get this in gear, and you need to get me home. Me and the other American detainees here and around the world. You need to show and act like you really care about us. This story is saying that President Biden has actually read the letter. All right, now. It's time for some action. Now, right? Time for talking and time for posturing and time for pretending is done. Right? There was never any time for pretending. But come on, the lady has
I'm
wrote
almost
her a
upset
letter.
this is a story, man. I'm upset this is even a story.
It's
Really, you
well,
read the letter? Like, show some action, man.
yeah.
Do something.
As I sit here in a Russian prison, alone with my thoughts and without the protection of my wife, family, friends, Olympic jersey. It's interesting she said about her Olympic jersey. That's or any accomplishments. I'm terrified I might be here forever. That statement right there, right? The 99% conviction rate of the Russian government right there for crimes is one thing to keep in mind. But again, the fact that her sentence would be 10 years or up to 10 years, right?
I thought it was up to 30 years.
Well, so the sentence has been stated to be at least up to 10 years for the crime. But she's saying, listen, I'm thinking I might not ever leave this place because nobody is showing any love. I can't even get a phone call to my family because the United States government can't even pay the phone bill to get it to where we can make this connection happen. This is a problem right here. Right, this is a problem right here.
I'll say it over and over again. If Brittany Griner was LeBron James, he would have been out the day it happened.
Yeah.
The fact that she's a woman, a gay woman, a gay black woman in Russia, they are not quick to jump.
Yeah.
We got to call it for what it is. They are not quick to jump. And I heard in the Russian thing, because once they go through the trial, she'll be convicted. The thing is, they exchange prisoner, right? You have to exchange a captive Russian prisoner for an American prisoner that they named in order to kind of get him out the swap thing. And I don't see Biden to me right now. I mean, I'll be the first one I voted for him. It doesn't seem like he has a backbone in this situation. He doesn't want to. He's not really taking charge of this situation. Him and his constituents. I would thought Kamala Harris would be more vocal about the situation.
That's where I wanted to go with this, man.
And not,
yeah,
like really, like you're the vice president. And I don't hear you saying anything about this situation, helping her get free, help talking about how stupid these charges are. Like I said, man, if it was LeBron James, a person with that many accolades in basketball, they'd have been out. Matter of fact, they wouldn't have been charged. Let's put it that way. Because they knew the ramifications of it.
All right, so he's talking it out loud, and again, I've thought about that as well about the LeBron thing, but I think that was some low some shade that Brittany threw about the Olympic jersey. Okay, now I'm seeing she threw that out there again, kind of saying in a different way. I'm thinking now that if it was somebody else here, I got Olympic gold medals. I'm an all-star. I'm a treasure in the sports world and the entertainment world for young women, young girls, and what I do. And y'all let me sit here and rot in this Russian jail. If I was somebody else, a LeBron or whomever else, y'all would have sent the SWAT team. Y'all would have sent in SEAL team 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense why she's like over there for some cannabis oil.
For some cannabis oil. Come on.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, really, you gonna charge her with intent to distribute, possession and intent to distribute over some cannabis oil?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. But like you said, the Russians, they have a 99% conviction rate. She is African American, lesbian. I think that's the right word to say, lesbian, American athlete over there.
Yeah, and
let's not. America's not doing anything pressing to pull her out of that situation.
Yeah.
So are we both wrong?
No. And again, because I've been thinking about this too. Where is Ms. Harris at? Right. Again, I mean, this could be an amazing opportunity for Kamala Harris to champion.
Yes.
Look, I threw my ballot in there on the Democratic side as well. I voted for him, but there's a lot going on. But Biden, you got a lot of folks around you that can help. Don't always try to be the smartest person in the room, right? You've got other folks around you as well. But man, Kamala Harris can get out there and could champion this effort right here. And look, y'all politicians live, exactly right. Y'all politicians live on approval ratings and things like that. You're at a 41% approval rating right now. Y'all bring Brittany Griner back home. Come on now. I'll stand in the full parade. I'll wave a flag then.
If Vice President Harris would go over there and champion that and get her home, you will have a lot of women in her corner.
Yeah,
I know that for a fact. Just the fact that she championed that whole situation to get her home.
Yeah,
I haven't heard, me personally, I haven't read or heard one statement from Kamala Harris about the Brittany Griner situation.
Yeah. At least say something about it, right? You've gotten an opinion,
acknowledge it.
And we are in a democracy. You can speak what you want to say, right? I'm sure at some pressive hints, acknowledge it. Just say something about it, right?
Yes.
Work in silence all you want to get it done. But at least if someone asks you, at least state your thoughts on it. And we haven't heard nothing. I watch the news, folks. So again, if I miss something, let me know. I watch all of them. I watch a CNN. I watch a Fox. I watch it. So I'm watching both sides. And Vice President Kamala Harris, who should be championing this particular situation instead of worrying about whatever else she's worrying about. I don't know. Again, I don't sit on Pennsylvania Avenue. I sit on my little street down here in California. But this could be an amazing opportunity for the Democratic Party, for Vice President Kamala Harris in particular, to help and bring some clarity and bring this person home. Start with her and then start bringing back other folks. Come on.
It only makes sense. It's the perfect storm, as you would say, to help her out and to bring her home and for her to champion it and be in the forefront of that conversation.
I'm not losing sleep on this being done anytime soon. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, me neither, Tony. Unfortunately, I'm not either. It just doesn't seem like one, either she's not that important to the United States or them to be able to do that, or they just don't want to, man. This is just, it comes to those two things. Either she's not important for her to address and be in the front court, or she just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing why. I don't understand why not. And like I said, I'll always switch it around. If it was somebody else in that jail cell, they would have never been charged at that point. So it's sad. It's a sad case, man. I feel sorry for her and her situation. But I can tell you right now, if she does happen to get out and happens to get this situation, I wouldn't represent the United States for nothing.
Listen,
zero. I wouldn't be in the Olympics or nothing. I wouldn't even do any of that stuff. Matter of fact, if I could make a deal with the Russians saying I'll be a Russian citizen and I'll play on your team to go against the United States,
I'm a ball against y'all. I'm a ball against y'all. I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't doubt it. And I wouldn't look sideways at her either. Right?
Yeah. I mean, this is
dual
sad,
citizenship
man.
Someplace else, right? Someone that cares about me. Mess around, and go to Switzerland or something. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Man, we talked about a gang of stuff tonight. I'm hot and sweaty and bothered. I got my cameras are shaking and everything. This is some great conversation, some great dialogue, man. This is what we do, folks. Check it out. If y'all new here, let me tell y'all what it is that we do. Dang, that sound may have been a little loud. Hopefully I didn't blow you guys' ears off. But yeah, look, every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, Mr. Montel Allen and myself get together, and this is what we talk about: the social impact of sport, social impact of anything, just period, right? Because we unfortunately had to start off with the heinous situations that were happening and all over. We just highlighted and talked specifically about Chicago and about Ohio, but things like that. Join us, join the community. We've got a nice following, we got nice support, but if we're not doing it right, let us know. If we are doing it right, let somebody else know so they can join us as well. I'm gonna let you holler and talk a little bit about what you got going on straight from the horse's mouth.
Oh man, Straight from the Horse's Mouth is a show that me and James put together to help high school students navigate their way through the recruiting process. And we cutting out the middleman of information. You get it straight from the horse's mouth, whether it be a player, administrator, or a coach. So that's where we are with that one's been doing very, very good. We've got a couple of episodes under our belt, and I can't speak enough about it. So we're happy about that show. And everybody tune in, especially if you know somebody, have somebody, or in touch with somebody that's a high school student looking to play athletics at the next level. This is the show you want to tune into. I'll give it to you straight from the horse's mouth.
Straight from man, listen, and that show is hot. I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting in the background just producing and saying, man, he got some winners on this show. For sure.
We've been blessed, man, to have some really good people and some really good content on there. And I think it's helpful content for anybody out there. Like if you got a kid that really wants to play at the next level, basketball, softball, baseball, any sport there it is, I'm trying to give it to you from not only from a different lens, but also get from the coaches what they're saying about it. How are you to be able to get your film together? What are you supposed to do? Instead of talking to that cousin or that middleman or somebody you don't know or that coach that really never played or thinks he knows how everything goes. Hey, get it straight from the person that's in the industry doing it, that does it for a living. I think they'll get a better perspective of what's going on.
Definitely. So both of those shows we've niched down, and those two shows, this Team No Sleep and Straight from the Horse's Mouth, are on the Team No Sleep exclusive YouTube channel. I think starting next week, that will be the exclusive place where they will be. I'll put a link of an event on Facebook and on Twitter and on these other social platforms, but the only place, folks, where they'll be streaming is going to be on YouTube at the Team No Sleep YouTube channel. So definitely come over there, subscribe, because that's where we're going to be, and that's where we're going to get down. We're going to drive the traffic to that location.
Tune in when we got some heat for y'all. Some heat.
Heat, man.
Definitely some heat.
All right. Hey, so July 4th weekend, there's a lot of things going on. From a sports side. You're not a baseball fan, so that's the only kind of sport going on right now. There's a little Wimbledon. Wimbledon is cool, a little tennis action.
LIV tearing it up right now.
LIV, look, folks was tripping. Why was I talking about LIV back in the day? And now look at LIV. We got controversy, we got drama, we got
Yeah,
all kind of stuff. Told you, brother.
LIV
We know
tearing. I
these
think we
things.
got a lot. I think we got lots of hitting on. Plus, we still got the free agency with football
Yeah,
and basketball going on. Kevin Durant, Kyrie situation. So
man.
we got
Yeah,
things going on in sports that we can talk about. I mean, it's just that we always have these other stories that keep hitting us a little bit harder than those things that aren't important. Those are just for sports fans, but we want to talk to people out there just to kind of get a lens of everything that's going on in the world, so they can see it maybe at least from our perspective to give them a different perspective
that's
and see
true.
how they can deal with it.
Now, on the weekend of the 4th, do you watch? There's another sport, and that's the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Have you ever watched that? You know who Joey
Yeah,
Chestnut
I
is?
watch it. I think it's hilarious. That's gluttony at its best, right?
You know
Yeah, I
they've got I think two main events. So they've got the men's and the women's competition for the hot dog eating contest. But before that, they do like a gallon of lemonade. That just don't even make no sense to try to drink all of that. But the Joey Chestnut deal where he's out there eating hot dogs and he's doing what he does. But did you see this clip? Did you hear this story about Joey mid hot dog had to put them hands on somebody who came up
yeah.
there
He
and
choked
tried to
somebody, right? He
bruh,
choked somebody
listen,
out before he
Joey
ate the hot
Chestnut.
dog.
Let me show y'all this. Joey's out there. Look, he put them hands on somebody. He did not stop. He still won too. Right.
That's crazy.
He won the championship again for the 15th time, but there was a protester. Boy, Joey got them hands, right? Don't think just because he's a professional eater that he can't put them hands on somebody. So he I wanted to end on that right there, just to let y'all see that don't sleep on Joey Chestnut there, man, because
Yeah.
he may know how to eat a
Don't sleep
Nathan's
on
hot
Team
dog.
No Sleep and don't sleep on Joey Chestnut, boy. He put them hands on you quick. He fired on it pretty quick, boy.
That's true. All right, brother. We out. That was a good show. Appreciate y'all. Again, leave us some comments. Leave us some feedback. Tell somebody as well how you think we did, and we'd appreciate you. Montel, take us home, man.
Yeah, stay blessed, man. Say your prayers, man, and call that person. Just tell them that you love them, man. Reach out.
That's it. We out, y'all.